So many people described Federer as seeming like he had an extra step. He had more time, an extra second. He could freeze time. He could do these things that no one else could. Can you maybe hypothesize about what are some of the elements that goes into him being able to have more time when he's returning a serve or when he's returning a shot to his forehand
Yeah.
side or something
Yeah.
along those lines?
No, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what Federer is doing, but it ultimately comes down to prediction. We're prediction engines. We are constantly having to make predictions based on our surroundings and what we're encountering. Athletes, especially because they're working on such incredibly fast time scales, they don't have time to react to the things that they need to if they were just standing stationary and not expecting or not predicting what's to come. It would be impossible for them to react. Baseball is another good example of this and how baseball hitters use predictions in order to make contact with the ball. I mean, a baseball, I believe, traveling at 95 miles per hour arrives at the plate in like 3 to 4/10 of a second, which is obviously very fast. And, that doesn't account for the fact that about half of that time is taken up by just the amount of time it takes for the brain to send signals to the body to move, right? Even though the batter is standing at a ready to move, it still takes a little bit of time for that signal to be sent, and they have to decide whether or not to swing or not swing at that pitch. So there is a decision being made in that short amount of time about whether or not to move or not move. And it also doesn't account for the deceptiveness that a pitcher might use to throw off the batter's timing, whether it's with the windup changing or, the length of a pitcher's stride can also impact. If it's a tall pitcher can get closer to the plate than a shorter pitcher. So how does a batter do it? The batter is making predictions based off of subtle cues that he or she is able to pick up from the pitcher's delivery, from watching the hand or the ball coming out of the hand. And a lot of those cues are generated from just intensive amounts of practice, long hours in the batting cage and many, many games played in which you're watching these pitchers. It's why film and why hitters watch so much film of the pitchers they're going to face, is they want to see the timing. They want to see the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand. And it's interesting because there is something that's a little bit indefinable about a current athlete's ability to predict what's going to unfold, even relative to an ex-athlete or certainly a journalist like myself, or even a coach. And there was a really interesting study that was done sometime around 2008, 2007 in Italy, where the researchers they had somebody shooting a free throw, and they had a camera on the fingertips of the basketball player shooting the free throw, and the video was zoomed in to show the ball released from the fingertips, and that was it. That's the only thing they show. They didn't show maybe they showed a little bit of the release, but they didn't show whether the ball was going in or not. They occluded that portion, and they had players guess based off of what they were seeing about whether or not the ball was going to go in. And the players, the teammates, were by far more accurate about predicting that whether the shot was going to go in than coaches, than trainers, and even ex-players. So there is something about active expertise that gives an advantage to just that prediction element. And whether or not it's just picking up cues that other people aren't doing, or that aren't able to pick up on, it's not really clear about what that is, but the evidence shows that there is something that is extraordinary about being an active expert in making those predictions. So that's what Federer is able to do. He's not reacting. It's not reaction time. There's everybody talks about he has fast reaction time or hand-eye reaction, hand-eye coordination. Most of us have just about the same reaction time with reaching tasks. There's really not a huge difference in that because there's just, there's only so much we can do with that motion.
There's a theoretical limit based on our neurons and stuff as well.
Totally.
Right?
Exactly. So what someone is able to do, like Federer, to react is predicting.